to the Memorabilia Warehouse, the Graceland Suite, and the Superstars Green Room. We take you behind the music and inside the secret world of Universal's Hard Rock Orlando. Orlando, Florida. Every year, over 40 million tourists make the pilgrimage to this vacation mecca. They come for the weather, they come for the excitement, but mostly they come for the non-stop entertainment. Over 90 attractions enliven the city's landscape, but a few stand out among the rest. There was a time when Orlando meant one thing: a theme park with a mouse that roared. But today, that big black mouse and his theme park have some fierce competition. Enter Universal Studios, Florida. In May of 1999, Universal upped the ante on family entertainment, adding the most high-tech theme park in the world, Islands of Adventure. It's a full-throttle funhouse, packed with jaw-dropping plunges and eye-popping special effects. Today, Universal is pushing the envelope again, taking the idea of themed entertainment to bold new heights. They've created a place to appeal to the pampered star in all of us. It's only a guitar lick away from the Universal theme park, and it's called the Hard Rock Hotel. The Travel Channel's cameras were there to capture the spectacle of the grand opening. For 3 days, there was non-stop entertainment. Here's what happened. It began with a party filled with celebrities.
It was a great party. There was a lot of actors and actresses there as well, and it was just, it fit what you would expect at a Hard Rock.
Following morning, former Monkey Mickey Dolenz and 2001 musicians set a world record, banging out the loudest and longest drum roll ever. And finally, a fireworks extravaganza. All this to welcome in the third Hard Rock Hotel. And we found out what all the fuss was about.
Hotel is beautiful, fabulous. I've never seen a Hard Rock look so plush.
All the decorations, all the extravagance, everything else, it's very, very nice.
I think it's magnificent what they've done for this hotel.
When they designed this place, they went all out.
How you guys doing? Welcome to the Hard Rock.
And in keeping with the Orlando amusement park tradition, they gave this hotel a theme. They designed it to look like the home of a rock star living in Southern California, and they wanted anyone walking through the doors to feel like rock star royalty.
When you first drive up and see the Hard Rock Hotel, you're immediately hit with this California mission-style architecture. You know that you are not in Orlando, that you are in LA, you are in California.
The clay tile roof and wrought iron balconies should help to evoke the sun-soaked confines of California. And if that isn't enough, the front yard is lined with a special breed of authentic palm trees from the West.
The palm trees were trucked in from Phoenix, Arizona, and from Palm Springs, California. And they were hand-picked. We sent people out there to pick them up and make sure they were the right size and the right shape.
But the Hard Rock's not just cool on the outside. And we found out the secrets to creating cool on the inside, too.
We've gone beyond hip and hot and chic to something that's just comfortable. You walk in there and you smile because you feel good.
I think the decor is just fantastic. The decorator did a wonderful job, and it's really exciting. It's, I think, eye candy would be a good description for it.
Designer Maisie Weeper was the brains behind the Hard Rock's hip aura. And we found out it was no easy feat decorating for a fictitious superstar with eclectic taste. So before she could create a home for this persona, she had to create a backstory.
This is a star who's educated, who's world-traveled, who's literate, who's been to the finest hotels in the world, and my theory is that he has this crazy girlfriend who travels with him, and they go all over the world, and they just amass these wonderful things, and these things are what made their way into the hotel, and they're documentations of their trips and journeys.
And here's a secret. To perfect this look of casual cool, Maisie and her team had to go on an international shopping spree. They jetted from New Orleans to Paris, sparing no expense along the way. The end result was unique accents like these pillows made of antique Indian saris, and these pedestals made of hand-blown glass from Czechoslovakia. But some of the most exotic pieces can be found in one of the most popular hangouts in the hotel. The Velvet Room.
And then the furniture in there is pretty bizarre. Bengal tiger chairs, leopard carpet, really rich mink-colored mohairs. But it's my favorite because it's the quirkiest, I think, and it's a bizarre color palette. It's chocolate brown, red, and acid green. You know, these are not things that we normally see.
And believe it or not, another room you might want to check out is the bathroom. Well, at least if you're a woman.
We are convinced that we have the single coolest women's restroom in these United States. It's got a a full-screen TV in there that's playing it's playing rock and roll music at all times and rock and roll videos.
And the emphasis on the decor doesn't begin and end with the hotel. It stretches outside along the man-made beach. This is the Hard Rock's answer to being 40 minutes away from the nearest beach. And here's a secret. To pull off recreating the California coastline, they actually had to haul in 33,000 cubic feet of sand.
The beach sand is probably the best beach sand that you can find. We trucked it in. It is very fine-grained beach sand. It goes right up to the edge of what we call the zero-entry pool. Again, that was the intent of creating the feeling of the beach and going into the ocean.
The pool's great. The water temperature is perfect. Yeah, you feel like you're at the beach.
I couldn't get out. It's the next best thing to a masseuse.
But it's not just the sand that helps to simulate the rugged California coast. Builders had to import 450 tons of concrete so artists could hand-carve rocks into the shape of Malibu's mountain range. And here's a secret. If you look closely, you'll see they even painted on moss to make it look real.
We worked from photos. We worked from a full-scale model of the rock work. So we're very proud of what we've done here.
But most people don't get hung up on hotel details. They just slide right in. And here's another secret. At 250 feet, this super slick poolside slide is the longest at any hotel in the United States.
Oh, that was great. That was really good.
Oh, the slide's fun.
And for those who'd rather stay high and dry, poolside has its own unique fine points. Here they created the feel of a Malibu beach club where any guest can rent a private cabana that gives you the star treatment for $60 a day.
They're all appointed with televisions and fax lines and phones and ceiling fans and all the appointments that you could possibly imagine. There are cabana guys and cabana gals that service the cabanas throughout the course of the day.
Beach, decor, and design aside, the Hard Rock is known for one thing. This is the place to find one of the largest collections of rock and roll memorabilia in the world. But here's a secret. Some of the coolest stuff isn't even on display, and we know where to find it. Next, we have an exclusive backstage pass to the top-secret memorabilia warehouse. The Hard Rock hotels have been around since 1995, but the little old cafes deserve the credit for their recognition. The restaurant chain began in 1971 when a couple of guys opened an American burger joint in England. And that burger joint became a lot more than a restaurant when a couple of their famous patrons decided to leave behind more than just tips.
Eric Clapton used to come into the Hard Rock Cafe in London a lot, and one time he just left a guitar there and said, keep this here and mark where I sit. And Peter Townsend from The Who came in a couple of times after that, saw it there, and he sent a guitar with a note that says, "Mine's as good as his, love Pete." And so both of them ended up going up on the wall, and it just snowballed after that.
105 cafes and 65,000 pieces of memorabilia later, the Hard Rock has developed into an international powerhouse. So 5 years ago, when Universal decided to add a hotel to their property, the Hard Rock seemed like a natural fit.
By creating the Hard Rock Hotel right on the grounds of Universal, we've tried to take a theme that is worldwide, that is really well known, and pull it together to create a hotel that doesn't exist in Orlando.
And at the Hard Rock, there is one particular theme that is exclusively theirs. The feel of rock and roll everywhere. And here's a secret. The hotel boasts more than 250 pieces of music history. And the price tag on just the collectibles found at the hotel is close to $1 million. You'll see everything from NSYNC costumes to a Jimi Hendrix guitar. There's also a brand new addition to the collection, an authentic Elvis jumpsuit from 1972. But here's a secret. They had some trouble creating this display.
Elvis was not that short. We had to cut the feet off the mannequin to make it fit.
The Hard Rock's walls don't just have eye-catching clothes, they've outfitted the walls from head to toe.
I'm a shoe freak, so we decided early on we were going to do just a montage of rock and roll shoes.
June Pointer of the Pointer Sisters donated this pair of boots more than 10 years ago.
They said, yeah, well, we have some boots here we want you to sign. And I said, okay. I thought they were going to put them out of a shoebox, and not walk in here and they're on the wall. I'm like, oh my God.
Another star with some foot power is Mick Jagger, who once wore these glitter boots. But here's a secret. These pieces are still only a fraction of the complete Hard Rock collection. The chain has a total of more than $32 million worth of memorabilia, but they haven't got enough space to show it all at once. So they keep a third of it in a super secret warehouse in an undisclosed location in Orlando, and we got special permission to go inside.
We're not open to the public Very few people are allowed back here, and we like to keep it that way. In here is the Hard Rock Cafe's framing room.
The storeroom holds some of rock and roll's most cherished keepsakes, like a Jimi Hendrix amplifier, a Weird Al keyboard, Donnie and Marie action figures, and David Bowie's sneakers. But those are only a few of the 20,000 pieces of music memorabilia. And here's a secret. This is ground zero not only for the Hard Rock Hotel, but for the company's cafes around the world.
They come to me and they say, this is who we want represented in a particular cafe. It is my job to go out and find those pieces for the designers, whether they be guitars, clothing, other kinds of instruments, artifacts, letters.
And here's something else you might not know. Each Hard Rock tells the story of rock and roll, so all of them have Elvis, Beatles, and Jimi Hendrix memorabilia. And every item is specially selected for both the cafes and hotels. And we found out why. The items on display in any Hard Rock have to somehow tie to the location by a story. And finding items that fit the bill isn't easy.
I go to several auctions a year, and that includes going to auctions in London, New York, and LA. I talk to private collectors on a daily basis. The artists themselves contact me, or I contact them when they're at shows here in Orlando. And roadies, tech guys, people who work on the albums. It seems like everybody has a piece of memorabilia.
The Hard Rock has paid plenty for their memorabilia, but they won't overpay.
So I will go to an auction and I'll have my little sheet of things that I've done research on, deciding what we need and what we don't need. And I have a cap on everything. So those people who try to raise the prices usually get in trouble because I'll stop. And they're always so surprised. What do you mean you're stopping?
Here's something else you might not know. One of the toughest parts of the job is making sure that what they've got is the real deal.
If it comes from an artist, there's no question about it. We just have them write us a letter saying, I use this guitar during this show. And when pieces come from private collectors, we do a lot of research. We research through pictures, through the internet, through books.
And as Andy Warhol put it, the end result is the Smithsonian of rock and roll.
This is a violin that was used by Paul McCartney on the song Eleanor Rigby. It's an antique violin. This particular guitar was used by Jacob Dylan in the Wallflowers video, Sleepwalker. But at the end of the video, he smashes it, and instead of smashing his good guitar, he smashed the replica, which we have now in our collection.
And the Hard Rock collection doesn't stop at instruments. There are plenty of costumes that haven't even made it out of the top-secret warehouse yet.
This is an outfit that used to belong to Cher. I mean, really, who can fit into something like this other than her? This is a white t-shirt that was donated in the San Juan Hard Rock Cafe by Eminem. It's just a white t-shirt, and he signed it to the Hard Rock. This particular piece right here was from a Shania Twain video. Look just like her, don't it? We have a gray suit that was worn by one of the members of 98 Degrees on MTV's Flights UK Celebration TV show. Here are 3 of the 4 costumes that were worn by Destiny's Child on their Bugaboo video.
The wardrobe is like a who's who of the pop charts, and we got the inside scoop on size.
They're so tiny. I can't even get my leg into some of these. Not that I try, but once in a while you can't help it. You try to stick your arm in something.
And then there are the clothes that have had some life put in them. Here's a secret. These lifelike dummies even had their faces painted by Kiss guitarist Paul Stanley.
They're very, very creepy. Nobody will stay here at night alone with them because we don't know what exactly they're going to do.
There's also some massive memorabilia, like this Roadster owned by Sammy Hagar. And this giant sun, a relic from the old Studio 54. Then there's this statue of John Lennon. But one of the most unusual pieces of memorabilia here is actually from a movie.
This prop motorcycle was dubbed the Enterprise and was originally supposed to be in the James Dean movie Rebel Without a Cause, but unfortunately it was left on the cutting room floor.
The bigger pieces in the collection are all over the place, but we found out there is a method to this memorabilia madness.
The whole warehouse is made up of all of these bins, and in each bin we have a little card so we can find exactly what we need when we need it.
When the memorabilia goes out on display, anyone can see it. including the artists. And here's a secret. Sometimes they like what they see so much, they want it back.
It's very, very difficult for us to get the pieces down, but if they're willing to give us something in return that's just as great as the piece that we have already, we'd be happy to accommodate them the best that we can.
But they say you don't have to be a rock star to take home a piece of the Hard Rock. Back at the hotel, they've got 2,000 square feet of Hard Rock store, where you can get everything from footballs to t-shirts. But here's something you might not know. Most collectors say their favorite item is the Hard Rock pins.
We do a variety of different pins. We do holiday pins and anniversary pins, and we just try to keep them really unique to that individual location, and it really increases the collectability for us.
And here's a secret. Those rabid collectors are known as pinheads, and John Storms is one of them.
My collection kind of really formed by accident. I didn't, really realize how many pins I had until one day I kind of started looking at them, and my wife was wondering what are you going to do with all these pins.
What he did was take 350 of his favorites and loan them to the Hard Rock Hotel. And here's something you might not know. Some of these pins are pretty unique, and they can sell on the open market for hundreds of dollars.
This one right here was given to me by Mr. Peter Boudreau, the president and CEO of Hard Rock Cafe. In 1998, I was named the Corporate Hero of the Year. This is a one-of-a-kind pin. This is an opening staff pin for the Key West Hard Rock. This was only given to the opening management team, the opening staff, and the opening training team. And it's also in my hometown of Key West. It was a great honor to go back there and open up that cafe. The next set of pins that are very special to me are all these ones in the center, the sterling silver pins. That every year of service that you have the Hard Rock Cafe, you get a service pin, starting with 1 and all the way down to number 10.
And if you've seen enough collectibles, then you might want to check out the rest of the Hard Rock Hotel. Next, the secrets that will be music to your ears, and find out who let the dogs out at the Hard Rock. Even in Orlando, where wild rides and family fun are the norm, guests say the Hard Rock Hotel is utterly original. So what's the secret to making a hotel this slick, stylish, and sexy? It's not just how it looks.
When I first walked in the lobby, it was just like, wow, you feel like a rock star.
Gonna go inside, come on.
The Hard Rock Hotel prides itself on customer service. They try to make all their guests feel welcome, and that goes for everyone, including their four-legged friends.
You guys check and what we have found over the years is that sometimes the pets are better behaved than our regular guests. And so it really has worked for us.
Here's something you might not know. Pets even have their own special room service. And if you do bring Fido to the Hard Rock, make sure to put out the special Do Not Disturb sign, just so that the maid doesn't let him loose. And dogs aren't the only ones who get special treatment. The Hard Rock also likes to make its pint-sized guests feel right at home. So for $375 a night, families can stay in one of 32 specially designed kids' suites.
So when you walk in, you'll first see these great rooms that are geared towards children. The furniture is the right level. The beds are designed for the kids. What's on the wall is fun and unique. And then there's a room next door where you got to put the parents.
But sometimes moms just want to have fun. And thanks to the Little Rock Camp, kids can do art projects and play video games while their parents party like rock stars at Universal's CityWalk.
We took the little water taxi over to CityWalk and then came back, and that was fantastic. And this is a wonderful place, especially for couples, to come to and kind of get away from the kids. It's very convenient, and it's really romantic in the evening. So it's wonderful.
There's just so much here to choose from. There's every taste for every person at every age group. And that's the magic of staying there. No matter who you are and what your tastes are, you have that choice right outside your back door. so it caters to everybody.
But you don't have to head out to have a rockin' good time, because the Hard Rock's creators didn't just want to create a funky look, they wanted to create a signature sound. The hotel has more than 900 speakers. They cover everywhere from the lobbies to the lounge areas. And unlike most hotels, they aren't hidden.
In this case, they wanted the speakers out in the open. If you look in the grand stair, the big speakers are sitting mounted on the walls. They wanted that type of effect even in elevator lobbies and public areas.
And even if you take a swim, you don't have to tune out because the pool's wired for sound. But you'll never hear the sound of silence because the music runs 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But where does it all come from? To find out, the Travel Channel's cameras went inside the Hard Rock's super secret music room. This state-of-the-art computer controls what you hear and when you hear it. But here's what you might not know. The hotel's management are also the DJs.
There's been a lot of brain power that's gone into the profile of the music that we play here in the hotel, into the times of the day that the music is played, into the volume level that the music is played at.
At breakfast, they start with some easy listening, then slowly ramp up to pop. And by the end of the day, the music really starts to move and groove.
There's all of that activity going on, and the music is just jamming, you know, so as the hotel jams, the music jams.
Every room also has a CD player, and that's where you get to pick the music of your choice.
CD players in the bedrooms are really wonderful. You can play your music and, you know, get a little romantic thing going on.
And here's a secret. If you forget all your favorite discs at home, don't worry. You get a specially created Hard Rock compilation CD when you check in. Like the hotel itself, it's a foot-tapping mix of classic, contemporary, and new age.
We don't sell them. We don't give additional ones out. It's, you know, it's one of the benefits of checking into the hotel.
There's another benefit of staying here, and that's the outrageous employees. The Hard Rock prides itself on letting them do their own thing. So they dress in styles ranging from grunge to garage band.
You're going to walk through this hotel and see members of the bell staff with spiked hair and various pierced body parts. You're going to see housekeepers who also have purple hair or green hair. We encourage that. We want that individuality.
And to help keep their finger on the hotel's pulse, management has what they call a sound check meeting every morning.
MTV,
it's where workers spill all the secrets of what's happened in the last 24 hours. It's all part of the Hard Rock master plan. If the employees are happy, the guests will be too.
We want people to come work at a hotel where they can be themselves, because then when they're relaxed, they're going to offer the service to the guests, and the guests are going to come back, and that's how you know when you're successful in the hotel business, is the repeat customer, and when they go home and tell their friends.
But the employees aren't the only draw, because the Hard Rock has a few extra special secrets hidden backstage. Next, get back in the high life at the Hard Rock as you eat, sleep, and drive like a VIP. Here in Orlando, one thing's for sure. They built this city on theme parks, but they built this hotel on rock and roll. And while the Hard Rock welcomes their regular guests, they love it when one of the stars they celebrate walks right through the door.
It's safe to say that we've had a good chunk of the inductees to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have stayed here since we've opened. A huge number of Grammy Award winners. We've had lots of Oscar winners that have been in.
It's no secret those VIPs are showered with special perks. But how much attention does fame and fortune buy? We've got the secrets of staying like a star. And it starts the second you step off the plane.
when we pick up our VIPs at the airport, the driver will have an album ready with their name on the album to pick them up at the baggage claim area. So when the VIP comes down the escalator, he'll see his name written in gold. It creates a good feeling for the VIP.
And here's another secret. An ordinary hotel might send a limo to pick up their VIPs, but not around here. Instead, they chose a couple of cars that are out of the ordinary. A 1956 Chevy Bel Air and a customized Chevy Suburban.
The Suburban itself is as tricked out and as modern techno as you could possibly get, with all the creature comforts in a fold-down plasma screen TV, a DVD player, VCR, sound system that most homes don't have in terms of its clarity.
And here's something else you might not know. As long as those wheels aren't being used by the hotel's drivers, VIPs can take them out for a test drive. Just about the only thing those cars don't have is a kitchen. But don't worry, the hotel takes care of its VIPs at the ultra-exclusive club level.
There's about 60 rooms on a particular floor that's keyed off. You need a special key to get there. You get complimentary continental breakfast during the day, cocktails and hors d'oeuvres in the afternoon. It's kind of a private lounge where you get private concierge service.
And if a VIP is picky, that's no problem. The hotel will bend over backwards to meet their needs.
If there's a particular type of food that they like, the fruits that they like, whether or not they're in season or not in season, we'll have them available. I mean, everything from specialty fresh squeezed juice to type of slippers they like to wear.
The Hard Rock even tries to stay one step ahead by anticipating their VIPs' every need.
We do spend a lot of time researching their interests, their likes and dislikes. Obviously, we're a music and rock-themed hotel, so what we'd like to try to find out first and foremost is what are their music tastes. We have a 10,000 CD library, so we pull out some of the music that we happen to know the VIP likes, and we set it up in their room.
And even if you're a VIP, only the biggest of big shots can afford to stay here. It's the Graceland Suite. Most guests won't get through the door, but the Travel Channel takes you right inside. It costs $2,500 a night, and that includes your own private chef and butler. Not to mention more than 1,000 square feet of luxury, from silk draperies to a velvet sofa. And while it borrows the name of Elvis's Memphis mansion, designers tried to give the suite its own identity.
The original Graceland has lots of like lemon yellow, and it's really like blinding. And I love the approach to yellow, but instead of it being lemon yellow, I decided that, beautiful, more golden tone would be richer and a little bit more low-key.
But whatever your personal favorite, visitors say you'll be having fun and fast.
We were able to go through the whole park in 6 hours. And then at that point, we'd go back and all the other rides that we really loved, which basically was all of them, we could do again, so it was great.
Usually when you go to a park, you have to wait in line, but since we were staying here, we could just go in front of the line. We didn't have to wait.
Before you go, there's still more to see, including a secret that will be music to your ears. Next, have a rockin' good time at the Hard Rock Live, where you can get up close and personal with some living legends. The Hard Rock Hotel, like the cafes that spawned it, is all about one thing: a love of music. So if you come to Orlando and stay at this rock and roll resort, you just might want to check out a concert while you're in town. And you can do it at the Hard Rock Live. This is one of only 3 Hard Rock Live venues in the world. There's one in Mexico and another in Indonesia. But what makes this site unique is its design. It's built to look like the Roman Colosseum.
If you look at it from the outside, it looks like it's an old Roman Colosseum that doesn't have a roof and is, that there could be things going on out in the open air when in fact it's a state-of-the-art, beautiful concert venue.
This 2,000-plus seat arena opened in February 1999. And since then, everyone from Elton John to Santana has graced its stage.
We've had the Third Eye Blinds of the world, the Goo Goo Dolls, Tonic has played here a couple of times. And we have about 150 shows, national shows here a year. So there's always a constant flow of great music coming through here.
Ticket prices for big events can run up to $150. And here's something you might not know. The Hard Rock Live also invites bands that aren't household names. And those concerts won't cost you a dime.
There are local music showcases where typically 2 or 3 local bands will get together, and we give the tickets to the bands and let them hand them out to their friends and family and fans to get people to come see them.
Here's something else you might not know. The Hard Rock Live is specially designed to have everything an artist could want. From its stadium-sized loading dock to all kinds of other perks.
From a food and beverage perspective, everything from, flowers, certain kind of flowers that Elton wanted in his dressing room to, you always hear the stories about different colored M&Ms and things like that.
And here's a secret. The Hard Rock Live doesn't just have one green room, there's 4. And here's another secret. The stars like memorabilia as much as their fans, so these rooms are full of it.
So we have a 60s room, a 70s room, an 80s room. So if there's one particular type of music that you grew up with or like as an artist, we can put you in that room. And the furniture in that room reflects the memorabilia on the wall as well.
But there's one room that every star seems to love. It's a secret place the public never sees. But the Travel Channel's cameras got a rare look at the Hard Rock Live attic.
It just started out as a room in the building that had a lot of pipe showing and wasn't really set up for anything. And our memorabilia staff decided to deck it out as if it were a rock star's attic.
And just like a real attic, this space has lots of things that might be interesting, but aren't very useful, even though they attract some big stars.
This ornate throne is always a popular stop for artists when they're in here. If they're not laying on the couch, they fight over who gets to sit in the throne.
Another feature of the attic is the signature wall. There you'll see the autographs of everyone from Poison to the Goo Goo Dolls. But there's another place for musicians and their entourage to hang out. Ordinary guests won't get through the door, but the Travel Channel's cameras got a first-hand look inside the Lennon Room. Named after the legendary Beatle, this is a recreation of John Lennon's living room at the Dakota in New York.
It's all white. It's the white room. We have original artwork by John Lennon on the walls. We also have a couch that he used to compose music in with a really neat spot where his elbow used to hit all the time and left a hole in the rattan.
The Lennon Room also has a very special baby grand piano. And here's a secret. Every one of its keys has been signed by a famous piano man, from Billy Joel to Stevie Wonder. And to get those autographs, the keys had to be sent out one by one.
And believe it or not, they were all signed and sent back with none missing.
Just step outside the Lennon Room and you'll be backstage, ready to take the microphone. When you get there, you'll find another behind-the-scenes secret. This payphone looks like just another museum piece. But it isn't.
We had to put a phone backstage for the artists, and what we did is we had an old phone booth from London, so instead of just putting a payphone on the wall, we put it in this old phone booth, and everybody seems to get a real kick out of it.
But not all the rock stars who come around take center stage. Sometimes they just want to watch the show. But they don't sit down with the crowd. They get to check things out from this secret balcony.
It has access to a private bar downstairs called the Lennon Room, and it has 22 seats in it, and these are the nicest seats in the house.
And here's another secret. These may be the nicest seats, but they don't have the best view. For that, you've got to be down on ground level, front and center with the regular crowd. And if you're looking for a little after-concert entertainment, you might want to head right next door to the Hard Rock Cafe. And here's another secret. With 750 seats, this is actually the largest Hard Rock Cafe in the world. And it's got the most memorabilia. You can even get a guided tour.
This is signed by John Lennon. John Lennon always signed his original paintings or artwork with a little doodle face on it. If you can look up here, it's got a little doodle face. It's his original signature.
When you look at a piece of memorabilia, it's more than just a guitar on the wall. There's a story behind it, and usually there's some quirky story about how we got it or what it was used for.
The memorabilia ranges from the Beatles to the King, but the Orlando Hard Rock reserves a special place for local color.
We have a Florida room that features memorabilia from all Florida bands. Everyone from the obvious Orlando bands like Backstreet Boys. We have some pajamas from NSYNC. We have a lot of things from Matchbox 20 and Creed, who are from Orlando as well.
And if you sit down to eat, you might not know that the Orlando Hard Rock has another secret. This cafe is home to the Hard Rock Cafe Test Kitchen, and the Travel Channel's cameras got an exclusive look.
We have an outstanding test kitchen facility here at Hard Rock Cafe. We develop menu items, we develop recipes. I don't believe a day goes by where we don't try something new, where we don't try something that's a little edgy.
And here's something you might not know. When problems arise, the kitchen gets right on them. Like when one woman complained about the Hard Rock's new salad dressing.
So we immediately came into the kitchen, started working on a new dressing recipe, found in asking questions of our GMs around the system whether or not the dressing was meeting the guests' expectations, and we actually found that it wasn't. So we changed that dressing recipe within about 6 to 8 weeks.
The Hard Rock says that kind of immediate response to customers is what has kept them on the cutting edge, both in and out of the kitchen.
It's got to be a great experience. It's got to be a music-centric experience from the time that people walk into the cafe, have their entrees, have their appetizers, the desserts, stop at the merch store, and exit the building. It's got to be all-encompassing, and food is an integral part of that.
But food is only one of the many flavors in the Hard Rock experience. And when you're done, you can go back to the Hard Rock Hotel and feast on the sun and the sand, the music and the memorabilia, and all the unique touches that make this the most musical vacation in all of Orlando.